Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
In this bulletin, opposition MPs walk out of Parliament. Traffic jams irk commuters. And Fijians to register for COVID-19 vaccines.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Opposition members walked out of Parliament this morning after two matters were not considered by the Speaker of Parliament. Speaker Ratepeli Nailatika received an urgent motion by National Federation Party leader Biman Prasad to ask an oral question. However, he ruled that it was not an urgent character or related to a matter of public importance. The second was from the leader of the opposition, Ratu Naingama Lalambalavu, who moved for an adjournment motion. This was also not accepted by the Speaker, resulting in opposition MPs walking out. SODELPA's social media page says the walkout was because the Speaker disallowed an urgent motion, an urgent oral question on the deportation of USP Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Alwalia and his wife. SODELPA MPs went back to Parliament after the tea break. Some SODELPA MPs who were missing from the morning sitting looked confused outside Parliament, trying to get details of the walkout.
So would you like to say something in terms of the opposition walking out?
No comments, ma'am.
Sir, sorry, just in terms of opposition walking out, what do you like to say?
Conference.
Members of the National Federation Party have confirmed they will be staying out of Parliament for the rest of the day. The three NFP parliamentarians walked out of the House this morning along with other opposition members. The NFP says their members walked out as the Speaker rejected an urgent oral question by MP Biman Prasad on the deportation of USP Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Alwalia. The party is expected to hold a press conference when Parliament adjourns for the day. The government will soon roll out a national COVID-19 vaccination registration program. Minister for Economy Ayaz Said Qayyum says the registration will allow them to identify priority groups before vaccines arrive in phases throughout the year. Once open, the registration can be done online or face-to-face.
Our vaccination campaign will be implemented in phases according to the schedule of vaccine supplies and deployed in order of priority. The phased supply of vaccines will make deployment somewhat complicated, as priority groups need to be pre-identified, tagged and tracked according to the deployment plan for each batch.
Commuters along the Suva-Nosori corridor today faced major traffic delays of more than an hour. Rehabilitation work on major arterial roads by the Fiji Roads Authority saw longer than usual traffic, and while the FRA had issued advisories, many travelers were left frustrated. Some told FBC News that leaving home earlier proved ineffective.
How they plan, they should at least let that flow in the morning from, say, 8 in the morning to 10. So it's really affecting myself going to work and the kids too. So if anything can be done to it, even if I leave around 6 o'clock, still will be the same.
Stuck from 2 hours.
More than almost 2 hours now. Right from Colombo housing.
Illegal extraction of gravel and sand is again becoming prevalent in some rural parts of Fiji. Lands and Mineral Resources Minister Chone Usumate says they've noted reports of illegal extraction and those involved are being investigated while others have been held accountable. Usumate says the extent of this illegal activity has prompted the ministry to put in new procedures.
We are also looking at our own laws that we have so we can strengthen the manner in which we can penalize those that are doing this. But also for people out there in the community who are aware that this is happening, to get in touch with our office, because there's all kinds of things that people need to go through in order to extract all of these things. There obviously royalties need to be paid. There's things like the environmental impact assessment has to be done.
The decentralizing of services will be one of the major focus of the Fiji Disabled People's Federation this year. Fiji's Spinal Injuries Association President Josko Wakaniasi says people with disabilities live around the country and having one office in Suva is not helping. Wakaniasi says decentralizing services will also enable assistance to reach members in a timely manner, especially during times of uncertainties.
No need to decentralize our systems. And the decentralization is not cheap. It's expensive. You know, to be based in Lambasa, we'll have to be rented. Teams on the ground. We plan to have it in Lambasa and in Ba, because Ba can look after Tabora, Kraikulotok, and then.
Up ahead, Team Fiji to abide by new games playbook and still hope for new rugby club.
Oira na ngone no de nunu enda be singe ni mataka.
Mer susunga da kena loma dina kena be karon.
Sakena ngau na metaro bina no rabaksa ngai ka wala loma takina ngone. Dalo bina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama ki rau enda be mataka.
Oni ti kena bakarombuka.
Ni wai tiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji One na ndomo ibiti.
Inda pinda na mataka. Dan ramai na singabo.
Team Fiji will need to make some adjustments to its travel arrangements for the Tokyo Olympic Games. This follows the release of the series of playbooks, which provides a framework of basic principles that each key stakeholder group will follow before they travel to Japan, when entering Japan, during their time at the Games, and when leaving the Games.
We think that the safest way for us to travel to Japan is by a charter. So we have started that conversation with Fiji Airways. The challenge is filling the plane, even though you want to be social distance on the plane, but for it to be viable, we need to see whether there are others in our region who can join this charter.
The journey to the Olympic Games isn't always smooth for aspiring athletes, and this rings true for Netani Ross, who has set his sights on the 2021 Tokyo Games. The 21-year-old faced a number of setbacks last year which stopped him from qualifying for the pinnacle of swimming competitions. This year isn't going to be any easier as Ross conquers mental and emotional health hurdles.
I have a lot of just personal challenges, so a lot of things mentally and just emotionally also, and physically I'm okay, but you know I need to get wrap myself around all those three to be able to perform well.
Giving game time to players who need it the most is the main aim for Hope Rugby. The team of 15 players who wish to switch to the Sevens code has been turning heads in recent Sevens tournaments. They won the Mokani Sevens tournament last month and were runners-up in the Uprising Sevens. Manager Ilaitian Bakani says the best is yet to come.
Those girls who needed game time and who had no clubs to represent, we do take them in, and we make a team out of them, hence the name, which is Hope. We actually give hope to those girls who are in need of game time with regards to grassroots rugby level.
Tropical disturbance TD09F lies just to the northeast of Fiji. Occasional rain with few thunderstorms and heavy falls expected over Vanolevu, Tabiuni and nearby smaller islands and the Lau group. Rain will become frequent and heavy later today. That's FBC News now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. for news you can trust. Get the facts from FBC's TV, radio, and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good afternoon.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही है।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।